Dearest listeners,
Book babes and book bros.
welcome to Book Babble. I'm Rachel,
And I'm Tanya, and we're the Witlit Women, your hosts for the day.
and today we're here with Vanessa, the author of the Olympus Syndicate series. So, welcome. Do you want to do a quick introduction?
Hi guys, I am Vanessa, aka V, and yeah, I am the writer of the Olympus Syndicate. And thank you for having me here. I'm so excited.
We are just as excited, and we're happy to have you on. I'm going to go ahead and put 5 minutes on the clock, and we'll get started with your 5 minute Ask Me Anything session.
Okay.
So it is up now.
So, first question: what inspired you to write the series or these stories?
So it started when I was in Portugal visiting with family. I was sitting on my balcony drinking sangria at 10 o'clock at night, watching a football team play. And I was like, what if I took like, a mafia and, motorcycle gang, and I wanted it to be different. But then I was like, what if I turned Greek mythology into like a modern day love story where I can take the story but make it more in sense of like a connection where we can. And so that's how it started. So I blame sangria and the football players, but I put it together and I was like, I think this is a eureka moment. So I started typing away, putting notes down, and I was like, this is something. It just came to me like that. It was so weird. Maybe it was like they're really good looking like football players and they had like that very Mediterranean vibe. So that's my background. So I am Portuguese and Italian. So I was like, oh, okay.
It
So maybe,
worked though.
yeah. So honestly, that is how it started. I literally thought of like, what if I created that into this type of normal, like kind of like a Gotham vibe world where, the gods are actually mortal and, you just see who they are as regular people. So
That's actually a really good comparison. It did give very Gotham vibes when I
yes,
read it.
I wanted that so bad. I wanted also the 1997 Romeo and Juliet movie from I'm
Yes.
gonna butcher his name, but he's my favorite director, Bass Lutherman. I'm gonna butcher it, sorry. But I wanted that vibe to be it, but at the same time, like a real connection that you can feel for these people. So yeah.
You did succeed. I can tell you that first, like firsthand, because I read your book. Um, so kind of keeping on this theme, which Greek god or myth was your favorite to reimagine and why?
Realistically, it's Hades and Persephone. I know. I originally they were gonna be my first, but then I was like, I was not feeling it, and I really wanted to do something outside of the norm because everyone, I shouldn't say like it's bad, but majority of times it's always Hades and Persephone story. And a lot of great authors have done amazing jobs with it. But I wanted to do something different. I wanted to start with a young couple and then I wanted them to be older. So I wanted to focus on an introduction to Aries. And I love Aries. And I thought everyone always assumes that he's a bad boy. But when you read his story, he was molded to be the bad person.
Hmm.
Because realistically, it's not. He was just the war. He wanted to be just like his father. But if you actually listened to some of the Greek mythology podcasts, he was madly in love with Aphrodite. Like it was his love, and he respected women. And everyone didn't know that because they were all focused on he's the god of war. But I wanted to tie that in. So I kind of, flipped a coin and said, let's go Aries. So yeah.
Yeah, it was like
But
it was
Persephone,
great seeing that marriage of God of War plus like honestly like bad boy simp. So like you did a great job.
he's not real, unfortunately. I'm sorry. If you can find him, I would
Dang.
gladly to be him.
So
Breaking my
depressing.
heart.
So my heart shattered.
Shattered.
So, what's your process for writing? Because every author is different. So, how do you process through all that?
So I don't edit a single thing. I don't touch it. I don't look at it. I let the characters in my head just write the story. So I usually do it at nighttime when, being a mom, working, doing everything else in the world, and then having my moment at the end of the day. So I kind of shut the world off and I write. and I don't look back and I just continue on. And that's what my thing is because the minute I start going backtracking, I notice that I become like, oh, I don't like this, I want to change this, and then I become negative and I don't like that. So I let the characters tell me what they want and then I continue on. And hopefully they're not that crazy. This one is.
The
Yeah.
Hades, your
Prepare.
your upcoming Hades one. Oh, I can't wait.
Tears. Full tears.
I've
It,
seen some of your teasers and I'm just like, I need it now.
yeah, yeah. I need it now. I need it done so I can like not feel. Oh, I like the music.
Okay. So we have reached our 5 minute AMA session, the end of it. So this will be posted on Instagram. For everyone who wants to listen to the full episode, it's going to be on YouTube and Spotify. So we're going to keep chit-chatting. Um, I did not get to ask one question that I really, really did want to ask. What is the most unexpected reader feedback that you've gotten so far about this series?
Honestly, the fact that someone compared it to Romeo and Juliet from that movie. Like
I love that.
so it's hard to explain, but I tried my best to create a world. And I know I'm not fantasy. I know that I can never be fantasy. Um, but I think it's fantasy in the sense of creating a different reality, a different, world. So I feel like there's two types of genre of fantasy. Like I'm never going to be, Avatar or any of that. Because I would love to be those types of authors that can create a world like that. But I believe that I created a world that is unique in itself, that it's not similar to those, but could be. So
Yeah.
when someone came back to me and had written a review saying that it's like they're watching the 1997's Romeo and Juliet, I literally cried because it literally made me think I did it. I made a world just like that. And
Mhm.
I worked so hard to get there. And that was honestly, I think I told my best friend Michelle, and she's probably gonna watch this, but she's and I literally was in tears because I was like, I did something. Like I made someone feel what I felt. And
Yeah.
that was like the biggest compliment to me. So to make someone feel exactly the same wavelength that I did while I was writing is just, I was just mind blown. Like I even get chills. Like I literally have goosebumps just thinking about it. It makes me feel like you entered my brain, you saw what I was writing, and you know exactly what I was thinking. So that right there was like done.
That's a major accomplishment. I mean, even if you're not doing like the epic fantasies, it's
Yes.
still incredible to be able to literally drop someone into your mind exactly how you saw it. So,
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
was
great
hard.
job to you.
I still don't. I'm super like imposter syndrome 99.9% of my life. So to someone to actually be like, you made me feel, you made me like connect, you made me be part of a world that I wish it
Mhm.
was real. And for me, that was like, I'm not gonna try, I'm not gonna cry, I'm not gonna cry. It was just, it was beautiful. It was really, really
Yeah.
beautiful to see.
I
So
mean, that's when you know you've been successful in your writing journey when someone can really connect to your story. So, I, I mean, just great job because I connected with it. So many of your readers have, and it's amazing to see it happening.
yeah, it's you know what? I took a chance with this story because I feel like I was going up against the giants of the author world because it's borderline fantasy, it's borderline not fantasy. It's all these different things coming into one. And to take a chance on a story like this, and especially Greek mythology, I'm that type of person, literally Barney from How I Met Your Mother, that's me. You tell me something, I'll be like, challenge accepted, let's do it. Drop mic, let's go. But when I told my friends about it, they're like, "You're really doing Greek? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because that's a big, thing. Because you
Oh
can
yeah.
make or break it." And I said, "Yeah, but I'm gonna do it in my spin. I'm gonna do my version of it." And so, yeah,
I
somehow
mean,
turned out good, I guess.
You really took the essence of those Greek gods and you kept it, but you spun it in your own way, which is
Yes.
what was really, really interesting and cool about the story because it wasn't like a typical, oh, here's, Ares with all of his normal Greek god powers. No, I mean, he was still very, very much himself. Like his personality was the same,
Yes.
but you really created this new brand of characters, and I mean, it was a fantastic job.
You know what, I wanted to see there was a lot of like Easter eggs throughout, like certain
Yes.
things that, like there was one line where Aries goes to Aphrodite because she was asking all his scars, and him's like, oh yeah, this one I got into a fight with this crazy Medusa girl. I think she had like loose snakes in her head, or like, like little things like, oh Zeus, I feel like you can do something but you're not as fast as speed of lightning, like all these little like things that
Hmm.
tie into Greek mythology that people can be like, oh, okay, I like that. Like how tie that. So I wanted that to be like a little like, oh, a little like play on with Greek mythology, but not to the full extent. And I feel like with the gods, they could be normal people, but they have a past and they have this huge complex. And I wanted to focus on the complex side as opposed to, the power side.
Yeah,
Like I said, Aries is this god of war, but he's always had this feelings of love, but he never felt love before. And
right.
in the story, you would see that because Zeus always made him out to be, he's my son of, he kills people. That's all I care about. That's all I care about, my son. So that I played on. And that's why they had like a tumultuous like relationship. They were never like they butt heads. And that's why he leaned more to Hades. And in the Greek mythology, Hades actually liked Ares. They
Hmm.
actually had kind of like a civil relationship. So I wanted to play on the fact that he's his uncle, he respects him, he loves him as like his own son kind of thing. So he's like looking out, and they both have the same mindset.
Yep.
They have this darkness. So I wanted them to be together. So yeah, I tried to do it as much as I can so that people can be like, oh, this is kind of like exactly like reading Greek mythology, but like a regular person.
Yeah, a modern retelling. You did a great job. Like you really, the characters are so true to themselves, but also unique and original. So you
Yeah.
you definitely succeeded.
Oof. Second one's gonna be hard.
I'm so excited. Are we going to see like the reappearance of characters from the first book? Like are Ares and Aphrodite and everyone going to be in that one too?
Yeah. So it's gonna be a big, so I made it kind of like, so the way that I write is like watching a series on TV. So there's gonna be all of them there. The heavier characters are gonna be Athena and Theo, aka Prometheus. So those are gonna be the second tier of like the supporting actor, so to speak. So they make a huge part in it. Paris is gonna be in it, Artie is gonna be in it, Aphrodite, Ares, Zeus.
Hey, the
They're
whole
all gonna,
cast.
the whole cast except one, but we're not gonna say that if you haven't read the first one. Um, Apollo is not gonna be in it. He has left the building. He will be back,
Okay.
but I didn't feel him need to be in this one. I feel like he's there, but he's not there. So, but I really wanted to touch bases on Athena and Theo. Yes, we changed his name to make it a little bit easier because everyone complained. So it's Theo for short for Prometheus. So those two contenders are going to be really big in this story.
I'm so excited.
I know.
Okay. Well, on that note, we are at the end of our time. Unfortunately, I could talk to you about this all day. Um, but we do have to wrap up. Any last words in the last couple of seconds that you all want to go over?
Sure. I just want to say I appreciate this. And if you haven't read The Wrath of Love, please do. It's definitely a whirlwind. Yes, the next book will have more smut. That was the number one thing I got a complaint on, which I was like, excuse me. Fine. You will have seven. 7. Enjoy. Happy happy hunting. There you go.
Oh, that's
And a
awesome.
cemetery one. Okay, so it's going dark.
Okay, sign me up. I need this right now.
I was gonna say I've got a yeah, we're in.
And then if you want to know a little about it, I'll tell you like a little snippet about it. Basically, it's about Hades and Persephone, and it's going to be it's a dual timeline. So it's definitely when they are in between their 20s. They met in college. He's the bad boy. She's the daughter of a mayor. And mayor doesn't like that. During that time, there is a serial killer going around. And unfortunately, something happens, which causes a dramatic situation for the both of them. And so 20 years later, she becomes his Broadway actress. She's living her dream. And we know about Hades. He's with the OS. And so one day she gets a stalker, and the stalker leaves a dead body on the stage. So she reaches out to the only person that she knows that could help her. And so Hades comes into picture. He has his Dexter vibes. He likes to people. And so he becomes her partner basically and protects her and figure out who is this serial killer that's coming after them. And so you follow their story. It is not easy. It's a lot. There is trigger warnings. There's going to be a lot. But there is a lot of emotions and a lot of destruction, and the relationship between them are tumultuous. They're literally gonna break your heart. I just finished a chapter. Actually, I finished 3 chapters where I've been crying my eyes out because it's been the hardest write I've ever had to do. Yeah, so tissues.
I will have mine ready.
My bad. But yeah, so it's gonna hit home for some people in regards to certain topics. And I can tell you, I definitely have a dedication, and the dedication is not what you would typically see in books. It's not going to be, the whole, he's the hot one or something like that. I'm not do that. There's a big part of the story in this book where there's a lot of victims, and the whole story about this book is about innocent victims that have passed away due to the serial killer. And so if you want me to share, I can share you a little tidbit of the dedication if you like.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So the dedication for this book, it might change. We don't know 100%, but this is what I've written. So dedication: to the innocent lives stolen too soon, your voices will not be silenced. Your stories will not fade. You are not mere shadows of innocent loss. You are light, you are true, and will be heard. Your stories are not to be buried in silence. Justice will find its way. If you know something, speak out. Let the truth rise and break the darkness. So victims, people that have been tortured and hurt, I wanted to bring light on that because no one talks about them. So
Yeah.
that's a big part of the book. So
wow.
Yeah.
Rachel, you're on mute.
I have goosebumps. It's so powerful. Sorry, I'm trying to manage the chaos. But yeah, goosebumps. That's so powerful. That's
what a
absolutely.
powerful way to end our episode. Yeah.
Thank you. So
Wow.
I'm excited, but I also want to give justice to victims, especially women of color, Indigenous women who don't get voices. And a lot of that kind of portrays in the story in the sense of these women that do become victims and they don't get heard. And so I wanted to break light of, let's speak up. So that is my dedication. I'm sticking with it. And you'll understand why I did it through Shadows of Innocence.
I'm so excited, and again, chills. I have no words. I cannot wait for this to come out. But thank you, Vanessa, so much for joining us this morning. We had such a good time.
Nice. It was so awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I know I'm weird. I'm crazy, but I appreciate it.
No, not at all. I'm sure we will reach back out to have you on again as soon as your next book comes out. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. It's sunny and ugly out here in Toronto. So actually, ironically, I'm going to film a podcast too. Yeah, my friends and I, we do a paranormal podcast. So we do full on spooky haunted stuff happening in the GTA. So It's not my first rodeo.
Well, you did a great job. So thank you so much. And have
Yeah.
so much fun doing your podcast today.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Sending loves from north. I'm like down. I'm like, no, I'm actually north. Cut that off. I know my geography.
Okay, bye. Have a good day.
Hi, take care.